Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. The front page is up next, and we are ready to go. Well, let's also tell you that you can be part of the front pages this morning. You can call the number on the screen. We'll ensure that it displays pretty soon, and we'd love to hear your reaction. So please feel free to call, and let's hear your voice as you react. We do have the one and only, the enigmatic, and of course the one who takes his time out to ensure that he breaks these stories into bits and pieces. I'm not trying to, eulogize him so much so he doesn't leave the set and leave us behind. Uade joins us this morning, and it's really good to have you. It's really good to have you.
Good morning, Joe, for all the accolades. On our sides. It's great to see you again.
I think our greeting should change these days. When we see a man, we say, my brother, well done. Because of the economy.
Exactly.
We understand. Say, well
it's
done.
grace, it's grace.
Grace. So once in the morning, it's not good morning, it's grace morning. Graceful morning.
Yeah, graceful morning.
Anyway, welcome. Let's quickly take a look at some of the papers that we're going to take a look at this morning. I'm going to start off with the very first one this morning, and it's got to do with the Vanguard. Vanguard looks very, very interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to start off with this particular story on the Vanguard. Buhari, Osibajo, Amechi absent as Tinubu woos aggrieved members. Are they really aggrieved? And that brings to mind a question. Are political parties having issues from here and there? Answers, yes, we do know the LP and the likes. But is it also affecting the APC? I'll leave that to our guest analyst. Scores fear dead as Boko Haram attacks Adamawa communities. They are back. My life is in danger. NAFDAC DG cries out. We touched on that early this morning on Wake Up Conversations. Tinubu's Muslim government has brought massive suffering. Hey, who's saying that? It's from Sharia Council. Okay. Judge dismisses usual, if I'm right?
Recusal.
Yes. Okay. I can't see that clearly. I'm trying to open that as well on my tablet, but I can't see clearly. Request in Emefiele's trial. We've restored normalcy in Northeast, according to the army. And if you look at that story, you just slide up, you see scores fear dead
in Adamawa.
As Boko Haram attacks
Adamawa is in the Northeast.
So do you get the point?
Yes.
Do you see?
So which normalcy have you restored? Just plot that graph.
Okay. Wade, over to you. Let's start off first with the Army's declaration and what you have at the top over there before we go straight to the APC. Which one? You pick whichever one you would like to talk on first.
Well, so let's look at it from this perspective. Yes, you can restore normalcy, but you still have pockets of insurgents. So that's probably what, this is my opinion, please. I'm not a security analyst, but I would try and put some context to it. So if the army says they've restored normalcy, it means that 8 out of 10 times people can go about their day-to-day activities, lives and security of lives and properties. I mean, lives and properties are better managed now. But of course, you can still have pockets of insurgents, and if restoring normalcy, and you can let's remember that the Northeast, there's so many states in about 4, 5, 6 states, and if those 6 states, 5 out of 6 of them, or even the 6 of them have a high semblance of normalcy, of course you can always have pockets here and there, and so probably that's what happened. I don't know, but there is still some insecurity, and until you quash it all out, then you would have this kind of news. One party saying normalcy is restored, and then the news coming out that in one part something happened, and yeah, it happens. It's the same way you say because armed robbers broke into one house doesn't mean that there's a rampage of armed robbery across that street.
Now let's look at this APC National Executive Committee meeting. Osibajo, Amechi, Buhari absent, El-Rufai absent. These are men that held sway in the last administration, and they're ranking members of the ruling All Progressive Congress. We've seen a pattern like Joe mentioned, of aggrieved members in this party, even in the opposition, the NNPP and the Labour Party, we've seen the discordant tunes. Now, when it comes to APC, we've seen Malam Nasser El-Rufai give a series of interviews. He's been engaging in anti-party activities, hobnobbing with known figures in the opposition. Should politicians just come out and, call a spade a spade? I'm tired of this party, rather than still be a member of the party and then you're criticizing and engaging in anti-party activities?
Maybe they're learning from the Wiki handbook.
Yes. APC and PDP clothing.
But they are all is PDP and APC clothing. So there is no, you just need to take off the Agbada or the Babariga, and then the Buba, you would actually find out which one it really is, whether it's red, green, and blue, or whether it has a broom
umbrella.
So that. But when you cover it with the Babariga, we really don't know where you are. But let's also remember that this same El-Rufai cross-carpeted in 2015 and joined the APC towards bringing the former president, or towards ensuring that the election of the former president Buhari came into being. But let's also remember what Buhari said when he was leaving, that he has retired from politics. So does he need to be there? If he doesn't want to play in the political arena, then let the jolly old man go and retire and rest in Katsina, where he is. As for Shibajo, he was the orator at the IBB book launch. So if he decides that he doesn't want to come to party activities, maybe he was absent. But let's not sensationalize everything. Are you with me? Does the story say, oh, they were invited and they refused to come? I mean, she hasn't attended anything APC in God knows how long. So why all of a sudden?
Lots of primaries. Yeah.
So why all of a sudden that he didn't come for a meeting with the president makes it a big deal for Nigerians to...
Newspapers need to sell.
Oh, that's what for Nigerians to know that Mechi didn't come for an APC forum.
Maybe I should play the devil's advocate here, but don't you think it's a big of a problem that they weren't at that meeting? Because whether we like it or not, this is a political party that's currently in power. That's one. You'd expect that all its members should be in unison amidst all the drama that's happening in other parties, where some people are, in other words, they are jumping ship to another party. We've seen what's happening to the Labour Party, how it's slowly degenerating, disintegrating, slowly just running out of steam. People are leaving. The boat is starting to sink. So many have said that ordinarily you would have expected that an Amaechi would be there. He was part of the past administration. You also expect that Osibajo, who was equally running for presidency, and then a video emerged. I don't know if you saw that video where many people gave accolades to President Bola Tinubu for bowing down, for putting his head down and holding Osibajo and shaking him and saying it's good to see you. So they would expect that there's peace, not in the Middle East now, but there's peace in the APC. So I think shouldn't they have been there? Don't you think so?
Showing courtesy must be standard, because they say respect reciprocates respect. So if you meet a former vice president, of course you will show some courtesy, even if you are the current president. And that's some courtesy, and that's what he has done. And in Nigerian and African parlance, that's good. It doesn't mean that we don't have our differences. And it should never be that we don't have our differences. We might have our differences in terms of opinion. We might have our differences in terms of ideology. And if my ideology doesn't agree, or my opinions don't agree with yours, then you will try and woo me to understanding better what your ideology is. And if at this point in time they've not been able to bring them into this table, all well and good. We will try again. Yeah. 2027 is 2 years away.
It's around the corner.
It's a long time. It's short, but it's a long time. We still have to go. The president still has to manage the affairs of Nigeria until 2027. So for them not being at one party meeting doesn't mean that the world should come to an end. And these are things you must always remember. And like I said, if Amechi hasn't featured, the last 2 or 3 times I saw Amechi, he was talking against the economic issues in Nigeria.
Yeah. And saying
Not
Nigerians
from
are
a personal perspective, but from what he believes. And
He almost sounded like an activist.
Exactly. But so because I'm in one party doesn't mean I would agree with everything that the president does or the vice president does.
Absolutely.
And like I said, Amechi didn't deliver his state. Wike did. So.
Wike of the PDP, you forgot to add that.
No, I'm not even adding anything.
Yeah.
Wike of PDP. Okay, you guys want to add that. But that's the person who delivered.
Let's take a look at
let me leave it at that.
Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper, the headline. There's the Guardian newspaper is still talking about the NEC meeting. Second term, amid row, APC NEC passes vote of confidence in Tinubu and Ganduje. And on top of that, we have Dangote slashes PMS price by 65 naira. Ipman warns of marketers' loss. Ipman warns of marketers' lost.
Right.
Okay, let's look at the daily leadership. The daily leadership, Dangote reduces petrol to 82 naira, 825 naira per litre for marketers, and intervene in Benue judicial crisis now, CSO still, federal government. My life is in danger, says the NAFDAC DG. We did talk about this in our wake-up conversations. And we also have made in Nigeria helicopter to fly soon, Naseni.
Uade should fly that.
He should go on the pilot. He should go on the test flight. No, as a patriotic Nigerian, you'll be making history on the test flight. You have that confidence.
And then they will provide all the insurance covers that I require.
And maybe one or two
accidents do
parachutes.
happen. It's the same way you have to get an insurance for your car. Then you will insure if part of your airline, if you are flying out or you are flying on a plane, your ticket, part of it has insurance cover.
You are right.
So what are we?
You are right.
So now MFLA loses bid to stop corruption trial. Now, I want us to look at some of the stories, especially the NAFDAC boss saying her life is in danger. And also, I would like us to look at the reduction in PMS price and why Ipman is not happy about this.
Why Ipman is not happy about it?
Yes, they're not. They say they're losing money. And
are you in Nigeria?
Yes.
Are you happy that prices are going down?
Of course I'm happy.
So as Nigerians, we should be happy. Ipman, they are businessmen. They should go and look at their business model and see how they can work around the modalities and ensure that they make money, whether they...
Ipman is not happy. Refineries in Europe are not happy. Belgium is losing a lot of money exporting refined petrol products to Nigeria. It has changed the international dynamics.
Like, I've always maintained here that if Nigeria does what it needs to do and what it has to do, then Nigeria will be a net exporter of petroleum products. You have the shores, you have the land, you just need to build in that infrastructure.
We've started. I mean, Dangote exported.
And that's what, like I said, I've been an advocate for deregulation of the downstream, petroleum subsidy removal. And I'm not scared to say that, and I will say it again today. I'm glad that they removed subsidy on petrol. Yes, prices went up higher, but it's coming down, and it will go up.
How low can it get?
I can't tell you that. I can only tell you that the price, if crude oil prices go as low as what we had at COVID, prices will go down significantly. But let's also remember there is an exchange rate issue.
True.
But we've seen more stability with the exchange rate over the last 6 months. And this is something that I remember when this administration first came into play. We continued to mention, myself, my partners at Nairametrics, we continue to mention what we require is stability for people to plan. You can't just wake up today, the dollar is 1,000, and then tomorrow is 2,000. No,
plan.
You can't plan.
True.
Now we have sizable stability. The CBN has done a lot towards ensuring that. The new open system that is being run is also pushing, as I yesterday, on the black market, the dollar fell to below 1,500. So let's have that stability. If we can have that stability over the medium term, we've had it for the short term, over the medium term, and if there are no crises that will jack up international crude prices, then we would have some stability in that market. I can't tell you, I need to go and check my computations and all and tell you, okay, and give you the different amounts or it can be based on what the Nigerian exchange rate is and the dynamics at 1,500 naira. So I can tell you at $10 a barrel and so on.
We've seen daggers drawn at the Dangote. They have enemies. Some have come out to say, look, it's going to lead to losses for marketers like Ipman, the refineries in Europe, even NNPC that should be on Nigeria's side.
I really don't understand. I don't know businessmen. Don't they have a business model? Is Nigeria their only? Is this the only country that is demanding for it? Our forex utilization has dropped 50%. Good news from importation. Do I think Dangote refinery should be the only refinery? No, I don't think so. We must let people invest in the refining business so that we can become net exporters of petroleum products. And I say this with all sincerity and all reality because I've been there, I've seen it. I know the capacity is possible. And the other question for me will always be this. We have, I don't have the exact, but when you look at Apapa, you look at Kirikiri, you look at satellites, the depots that are there, what's happening to them? And these are things that regulators, the government need to sit down and work out what are the modalities for those people getting those products there. And once that is done, the next thing is how do you move products out of those places outside Lagos, which is the mainstay of where petroleum products come into, and that's through the pipelines. I continue to maintain that Nigeria's petroleum pipeline network is probably one of the most sophisticated in the world. Yes, it was built in the 70s, but it was #1 technology when it was built. And has it changed? No. The problem is it hasn't been used. And I know over the last 2-3 years, there has been negotiations going on in terms of people who want to manage that facility. How do you manage it? How do you run it? I don't know whether contracts have been fully signed, but if contracts are signed, people are going to invest in these things. But the government needs to give assurances that there will be an enabling environment for businesses to try. If we walk the pipelines, then petroleum prices coming out of refined products in Nigeria, whether you're buying the crude from outside Nigeria, is being supplied by NNPC, we would get there.
All right. Well, we do have Chudi calling us from Lagos. Chudi, good morning to you.
Yeah.
Can you speak up so we can hear you loud and clear?
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
All right.
I think the Director General of the NAFDAC is doing a very good job. Fake drug is one of the things that has rendered this country useless. If you ask me, she is right in anything she's talking about. She's saying, if you have not experienced fake drug, the aftermath of fake drug, I am of the opinion that a capital punishment should be meted out to those who perpetrate fake drug. Fake drug is murder. It's killing. Like killing people indirectly. So I quite agree with her that we bring out death sentence on this issue to end this matter. People can just get up and they are killing their fellow human beings. Molding chalk as a drug. What kind of thing? What kind of a country are we? In the Western world, even You don't even go to shop and buy medicine. You must go with a doctor's clearance to buy medicine. But in Nigeria, everything is fake. Water is fake. Food is fake. Everything about Nigeria is fake. It's not good for us. I am of the opinion that death sentence should be meted out to those who perpetuate this act. Thank you.
All right.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, Judy, for calling. Death penalty is what is advocating for peddlers of fake drugs. But let's go to another newspaper very quickly. We'd like Uade to touch on this particular topic. Let's see if we can find The Guardian right now. Let's see if we can get that paper up. There you go. One of the stories that I'd like us to look at has got to do with the big one. Tax reform. Kano warns against breach of federal character and Muslims' rights. That's what we see at concerning tax reforms. And then the last one, which the caller also talked about, NAFDAC boss raises alarm over threats after historic 1 trillion naira illicit drug seizure. What's your take on these two stories?
Yes, I do think that there should be severe punishments. I don't think, my opinion, I don't think capital punishment is.
But people die as a result of taking fake drugs.
People die as a result of armed robbery. People die as a result of kidnapping. People die as a result of a number of things. But in Nigeria, it's those who pay ransoms for kidnappers, to kidnappers, that will get a jail term. I didn't see in that law where there's capital punishment for those kidnappers themselves. Well, if it's murder and you are caught and you murdered someone, of course, there's capital punishment under the criminal code. But yes, there should be severe punishment for that, because what you do is that you endanger the lives of Nigerians. But it just tells you about how the system has gone from up to down over so many years, where even regulators don't regulate what they are supposed to regulate. And I'm glad that they made this seizure, and I'm glad that the NAFDAC boss is pushing in that direction, because we also saw under the late Dora Akuyili what happened, and where they now came to be some semblance of normalcy. Thank you for that. And that's it. In my opinion, I don't think capital punishment is the right path.
So why are they after her life? Her life is under threat now, and members of NAFDAC, the staff.
So let me tell you one thing about how things should work. And my prayer is that nobody kills her or nobody harms her, but she must build a system and an institution that helps everybody within NAFDAC understand the reality of what they do. Then everybody in NAFDAC, people will be after their lives. Is that right?
Yeah, that's some of the
Is
stuff.
that right? No, it's wrong. However, that's a system. We saw it shouldn't be about the individual. God forbid. But if anything happens to her and you put the next person there, then you must work that system in the same manner she has done. And that's how you create legacies. We speak about Dora Akuyili, but after she left, we saw what happened, unfortunately. And that's that for that. But like I said, capital punishment, in my own opinion, is not what I think is right, but there should be severe punishments for 20, 25 years imprisonment. But the National Assembly should actually sit down and look at the laws, or put out a law that makes it that way, and not just, Okay. So she should push for that also from an advocacy perspective as the DG of NAFDAC. The other story was...
Yeah, I told you to speak on tax reforms. They're warning. Kano State is warning against the breach of federal character and Muslims' rights. So is the tax reform now starting to look like it's tilting towards religious divide?
Because some have argued, you have the Kano Hispa, the religious police, that go about destroying alcoholic beverage, and they enjoy taxation that comes from charging Nigerian breweries and other companies that produce alcoholic beverages. So they're saying if you're going to
maybe we should
be
start,
religious,
maybe we should
then
start,
you should stop
and
taking
which is some of the things I think some of the that maybe we should start by saying that if you are not allowed to sell XYZ that brings about taxation, then you don't have access to that. So you brought in federal character so you can be able to pull out of the national resources. But if you don't sell, why earn VAT from that?
It's only fair.
It's only fair. This is my opinion. It's only fair. Let's stop. Nigeria, first and foremost, according to Constitution, or correct me, my legal friends, if I'm wrong, is a secular state. It's not a religious state. It's not an Islamic. Yes, we're a member of the OIC, but it's not an Islamic state. Neither is it
A Christian state.
a Christian state. Neither is it
An African traditional religious state. Ifa state.
It is a secular state that allows every citizen of Nigeria, first and foremost, to be a Nigerian, and then secondly, to decide on their faith.
All right.
So if you want to create a system whereby you say you need to continue to generate revenues that you would use in building your own system or the system called Nigeria, but you are against something, then maybe you shouldn't touch out on that revenue, because if that's the case, then it will be illegal.
Okay, all right. Let's take our final story for today. Let's look at Olukoyede, the EFCC boss, who has come out to say that organized foreign fraudsters are establishing cells in Nigeria. He also talked about the foreign fraudsters who have come in. They've offered employment to our youths, taking them into their care, provide them with systems and laptops, pay for offices as fully air-conditioned, feed them, pay them salaries while they balance, take time, and continue to defraud. What do you make of this entire scenario? Because recently they just...
We've seen the rates.
Yes.
Why the attraction?
The attraction is money, economics.
No, to Nigeria.
Because there are no rules, there are no regulations. Now you are beginning to see they've charged a number of them to court. If there are laws in Nigeria, 419, I've heard 419 is section 419 of the criminal code, is defraud, is fraud. Obtaining by false pretense. That's what it is. It's been in my life, in my whole life history, and in every Nigerian's life. It was taken from what it used to be and put as from an ordinance into an act. But how many people, aside from one big story that I remember, or a couple of them, I don't want to mention names, but one popular lawyer at a long time ago who went to jail, and then the late one other guy who defrauded a
But
bank
we've seen raids by EFCC.
Yeah, but that is what you are meant to do. Do the raids. Are you with me?
Prosecute.
Do the proper raids.
Do the proper raids.
Not the...
Okay. Do the proper raids. Charge them to court. Get convictions. And then you would start to get Nigerians moving away from quick money. There is no shortcut to success.
We have Kolawole who's calling us from Lagos. Kolawole, good morning to you. Can you speak up, please, so we can hear you?
Contribution on your newspaper review, and my first thought is the alcohol issue. You see, there are times for everything. Even if some area is being shortchanged, as time goes on, everything will take care of itself. Those who are talking of alcohol, they even consume that alcohol more than the South. But the way they do in that area, the alcohol, they will put it in a keg and cover it. And from the keg, they will be drinking from it. I live in Bauchi State for 9 good years. I was Federal Ministry of Work to work in Bauchi State, 1981 to 1989. So let us leave that area. Let them be deceiving their people. Let us leave that area. About the issue of children going into drug issue, let the law take its course. Let separate the drug issue from the normal court. Let them set up a tribunal that even when you are caught, there is no option of going to Supreme Court or Appeal Court. The tribunal should be final. You will see that people will sit up. All these our children going into drugs, they will sit up. Let me tell you, I tasted cigarette, cigar. I tasted it. They call it SM cigarette. I tasted it. When I woke up in the morning, I now discovered it was smelling all over my body. Today, I did not ever eat today. So, these are the things that ruin someone, our children. Government should do something about this.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kolawole. Thank you for your call. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's the summation for today's front pages. I think Mr. Kolawole has done a great job bringing the pages to an end.
Let me just add to what he says. I don't think we need to set up a tribunal. I think we need to let the justice system work and function efficiently and effectively. Where people commit crimes and they go through that system, it's not for the rich or the poor. It is for every Nigerian that the justice system works, and it works efficiently. Where rules and regulations have been made and people have broken them, then enforce them. It's as simple as that. You don't need to set up special courts.
As long as there are consequences for actions,
exactly.
People would
your choices, and like I always talk with you, your choices are based on 3 things. Your decisions, you act upon those decisions, but let's always remember that you're the one who faces the consequences first and foremost. And once you realize that and you face those consequences, before Joe will come and bail me from behind the camera, I don't collect the mosquito.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Uade Ahimie, for speaking with us, joining us for the papers.